Good morning, everyone. I'm going to speak on the topic driving towards zero emission, how CAEV technologies contribute to cleaner air and cities. It is an honor to be here today and to share the stage with such a government dignitaries, industry leaders, and experts in automotive technology. I want to thank the organizers for bringing us together for this timely and important conversation. Discussions like these have to power to shape how we think about technology, not just a tool for innovation, but as a means to improve our public health, protect our environment, and to ensure long-term sustainability of our cities. I took forward to these opportunities because conversations like this one have the power to shape not only how we think about technology, but also how we act on it. We live in a time where the spread of urbanization and industrial growth has created a remarkable progress. Now, infrastructure, better connectivity, and increased access to goods and service have improved lives across the country. But this progress has also brought unintended consequences, most notably increased pressure on our environment. Our cities are now struggling with rising congestion and deterioration air quality. According to the 2024 IQ Air report, 39 of the 50 most populated cities in the polluted cities in the world are in India. A town in Meghalaya was ranked the most polluted metropolitan region globally. With the PM 2.5 levels, our 128 micrograms per cubic meter, more than 25 times higher than the WHO's safe limit. Delhi remains the most polluted capital city. This is the public health crisis with serious consequences for the respiratory health, life expectancy, and economic productivity. The questions that naturally follow is, what do we do about this? A large part of answers lies in how we move. Globally, and transportation sector is responsible for nearly 20% of carbon dioxide emissions. But zoom in further and you will all find that in India, road transport alone accounts for approximately 90% of all the transport related emissions. So if we are serious about cutting emissions, we need to rethink road-based mobility itself. That's where the cleaner alternative comes in. One of the most promising ways to achieve this target is by transforming mobility through CAEV technologies, connected, autonomous, electric, and shared mobility solutions. These are not isolated innovations. They are interconnected levels of charge that together can drastically reduce emissions, improve efficiency, and transform the very structure of urban life. Let me walk you through what each component means and why it matters. Connected vehicles are equipped with internet access and can interact with other vehicles and infrastructure. This enables everything from real-time traffic updates to productive maintenance. The results: fewer traffic jams, more efficient routes, and lower emissions. In India, where we lose countless hours of congestion every year, this alone could be a game change. According to a 2023 Niti Aayog and Rocky Mountain Institute report, intelligent traffic management systems using connected vehicles data could reduce urban traffic congestion by 15 to 25%. Autonomous vehicle built on connectivity. These are vehicles that can navigate without human input using sensors, cameras, and artificial intelligence. While India is still in the early stages of EV development. Research published in the journal Nature Communications shows that autonomous vehicles, even as at partial deployment, can reduce fuel consumption by up to 40% due to more consistent driving pattern and and fewer accidents. Of course, large scale of AV development in India would require major regulatory support and infrastructure updates, but the potential benefits are clear. Now, let us walk about electric mobility. India is making rapid progress here. In 2024, EV sales crossed the 2 million mark, accounting for 8% of total vehicle sales, up to just 1% in 2019. Electric 2 and 3 wheelers are leading this growth, thanks to their affordability and lower battery requirement. The FAME 2 scheme, which has now supported over 1.5 million EVs, has deployed a key role in this transition. But we have a long way to go. According to study by the International Council on Clean Transportation, India must electrify at least 80% of the 2 and 3 wheelers, 70% of the buses, and 30% of private buses by 2030 to meet the climate goals. Electric vehicles do not emit anything from the tailpipes, which makes a huge difference in urban environments. They also reduce a noise pollution, but we must remember EVs are only as clean as the electricity used to charge them. At the moment, over 70% of Indian electricity still comes from coal. So, to get the full climate benefit, we need to make sure our grids is getting cleaner too, through solar, wind and better storage systems. The final piece of CAEV framework is shared mobility. In many ways, this is the most culturally challenging shift because it asks people to move away from private vehicle ownership. But it is also one of the most impactful. Shared mobility reduces the number of vehicles on the road, which means less traffic, lower emissions, and better use of infrastructure. If implemented at scale, it could cut carbon CO2 emissions by as much as 40% as per 2022 study by the World Resource Institute. The success of the metro systems and electric bus fleets and app-based ride-sharing in India cities like Bangalore, Pune are early example how this can work. So where does India stands in all this? We are moving in the right direction, but unevenly. Our ED adaptation is improving rapidly in certain segments. Two-wheelers, for instance, are approaching 15% penetration in some cities. E-rickshaws and electric three-wheelers dominates in states like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. However, connected and autonomous technologies are still largely absent outside of pilot projects. Shared mobility has made inroads in urban India, but remains limited in smaller towns due to lack of infrastructure and digital literacy. There are also real challenges. Charging infrastructure is still limited. India has around 12,000 public EV charging stations compared to over 300,000 petrol pumps. Battery manufacturing, while receiving a boost from PLI schemes, still depends on improved components. Policy uncertainty, especially around battery safety, recycling norms, and vehicle testing, can slow down innovations. And let us not forget the public perceptions barrier. Many people still worry about EV range, battery fires, and or the reliability of the shared services. When is the path forward? The first thing is infrastructure. We need a national grid of fast charging station, especially along highway and in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Battery swapping for electric 2 and 3 wheelers should be scaled up. Urban roads need to be redesigned with a CAEV in mind, with dedicated EV lanes, smart traffic systems, and AV testing corridors. Second is affordability. More targeted subsidies, easy financing options, and tax incentives can help bridge the price gap between EVs and ICE vehicles. Battery as a service or vehicle leasing model can also make a CAEV accessible to delivery agents, gig workers, and MSMEs. Third is policy alignment. We need clear long-term national and state level roadmaps for CAEV development, covering everything from R&D and testing protocols to insurance framework and skill development. The upcoming FAME 3 policy is expected to address some of these gaps, but broader regulatory clarity is needed. Fourth one is renewable integration. We must decarbonize the grid at the same pace as we clarify vehicles. That means more support for rooftop solar, energy storage, and virtual power plants. Fifth one is we need to bring people into the conversation in ways that feel real. Talk to parents about how cleaner air can means fewer asthma attacks for their children. Show office goers how much money they could save every year by switching to an EV. Inspire students to take pride in contributing to a net zero future. Change begins not with the policy papers but with a conversation that connects the everyday life. At Motovolt, we see our roles not just as a vehicle makers but as a solution builder. Our mission is to build intelligent, sustainable, and inclusive mobility solutions that are rooted in India's real transport needs. Whether it is a lightweight EVs for daily commuters, modular battery packs for the rural distribution, or the connected dashboards for the fleet operators, we believe that innovation must be grounded in affordability, scalability, and climate impact. We also recognize that we cannot do this alone. Achieving zero emissions mobility will require collaboration between startups and legacy automakers, between central and state governments, between urban planners and energy providers, and most importantly, between citizens and systems. Let me end by saying this: CAEV technology are not a silver bullet. They are part of a broader ecosystem shift, but they give us a clear pathway to act, a chance to rebuild our cities not just with more roads but with more purpose, a chance to ensure that progress does not come at the cost of the planet, and a chance to give a next generation something better than what we inherited. Thank you.